I'm Al Garver, Executive Director of Angus. In March of 2013, we began a full-court press to get military technicians exempted from the sequestration furloughs. There have been several developments we want to bring you up on. In our previous video, we showed our testimony before the House Veterans Affairs Committee on March 14th. While the sequester has triggered the partial furloughs of 800,000 DoD civilians, there is one subgroup of those civilian employees that justifies an exemption: National Guard military technicians. We discussed our National Guard coalition letter with NAUGUS and AGOS and our support of Congressman Stephen Palazzo's H.R. 1014. On July 24th, Angus testified before the National Committee on the Structure of the Air Force and brought up military technician issues of the furloughs and TRICARE Reserve Select. We especially want you to see the follow-up questions from the 8 commission members. We'd like to finish our testimony by requesting this commission consider investigating 2 smaller but important personnels related to the dual status military technician program in the Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve. Currently, there's 22,000 of these military technicians in the Air National Guard and 10,000 in the Air Force Reserve. We have been advocating for those technicians to be exempted from furloughs since they wear their military uniforms to work every day. We believe they should have the option to utilize TRICARE Reserve Select benefits rather than their mandated federal employee health benefits. Not only would this save the U.S. government hundreds of millions of dollars per year and reduce out-of-pocket costs for technicians, but they and their families would be spared the incredible complications and hardships of switching from FEHB to TRICARE and then back again every time they deploy. This conversion would be beneficial to all, but DoD has been unresponsive. We hope this commission might influence the U.S. Air Force to be the first service to advocate this change. Yes, and when we talk to the TRICARE entities, which includes Humana, United Health, and HealthNet, they tell us that one of the biggest challenges they have is helping Guard families navigate back and forth, because if you're in the FEHB health system, especially if you're doing things like mental health or issues of that nature, and then you have to switch into a completely separate system with separate providers, it causes significant disruption, and then have to come back. Why that's relevant, even though it seems like a very small thing, you were talking earlier with the 2 gentlemen from the think tank about dwell and the 1 to 2 and the 1 to 5. We don't hear our guardsmen complaining about being deployed too much. We hear them complain about not being treated the same as the Air Force, and that's one of the key things that we hear is the military technicians wear their military uniforms to work every day, and Congress made them that way, but yet we're furloughed like civilians and we're not treated like military in uniform. Or our families are at peril from switching back and forth in this bureaucracy, and no one will listen. We've been pushing this, and other organizations have been pushing this for 5 years, and yet no one's listening. DoD doesn't want to hear it. Congressman Stephen Palazzo, Rich Nugent, and Earl Blumenauer got an amendment passed on July 24th that would immediately and permanently exempt military technicians from furloughs. When Congress returns after the August recess, we will be working with key U.S. senators to keep that amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. On August 6th, a press release from Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel announced furlough days within the current fiscal year would be reduced from 11 to 6. We know that 6 is still not good enough and are still engaged in the fight. Our advocacy for military technicians is going to become a major item of discussion at our national conference from 18 to 22 August and will likely become our top legislative and membership priority for the next 2 years. And our next step is to begin working with the technicians' unions to further coordinate these efforts. We encourage every military technician in the National Guard to get involved by joining Angus today at angus.org. We also encourage you to get actively involved in your state enlisted association. Together, we're going to make sure your voices are heard loud and clear on Capitol Hill.